Hi everyone, so today we're going to be looking at some probability Venn diagram questions. So the first question we've got here shows us a Venn diagram which shows information about the number of people who have brown hair and the number of people who wear glasses. Now it's a simple question. It's just asking us how many people have brown hair and glasses. So in these sorts of questions, the wording of the question is very important, right? If we look very carefully here, it's asking us for how many people have brown hair and glasses, right? So we know and in probability means we need both of them, right? We need a person that has both of those things, right? It's not asking for brown hair or glasses. So it's not like we can have either one, or we need both, right? And in a Venn diagram, which part of the Venn diagram shows us the part where we have both things? It's this section it's the section in the middle, right? It's this part here, this overlapping part of the two circles. That's what shows us the part where we have both situations occurring. So we have a person with brown hair and glasses, right? And clearly in this overlapping section we have the number 4, so that means that 4 people have brown hair and glasses. So the answer to question 1 would be C is equal to 4. Okay, let's look at question 2 now. So Max asks 40 people whether they own a cat or a dog. 17 people own a dog, 14 people own a cat, and 7 people own a cat and a dog, right? And then you have to choose a correct representation of this information on a Venn diagram. Now, this sort of question can be a bit tricky sometimes, because what we tend to see is that people will just see, all right, 17 people, sorry, let me just erase that. Let's get the pen back. So they'll see that 17 people own a dog, 14 people own a cat, and 7 people own both. So some people just sort of think that, yeah, we've got 17 for dog, 14 for a cat, and 7 people have both. Right? This is incorrect though, okay? Because what we need to understand is that this 17 people that own a dog, this 17 is basically made up of not just the outer part of this circle, but this entire circle here, right? So what that means essentially is that this entire circle needs to add up to 17. In this case, we can see that it's adding up to 24, which is too much. Okay, same with the other side. If you have 14 people that own a cat, we need that this entire circle here, that needs to add up to 14. But in this case here, it adds up to 21, right? So how do we sort of go about this sort of Venn diagram question? And we have to choose a correct representation of the information. So let me just rub these drawings out. But how we do that is we start off with the middle section, right? So we start off with the fact that 7 people own a cat and a dog. Okay, that's what we start off with, right? And using that information, we fill in the middle section, right? So all of them have 7 in the middle here. So we can't rule out any information there immediately, right? So all of them have 7 people. Now what it says is that 17 people own a dog. Okay, so if we look at the dog section here, this number plus 7 should in total add up to 17, right? So in this case, we already have 17 here, so we know that that's incorrect. So you can cross, we can cross option A out. Okay, this one over here, we have 10 and then we have 7 here, so that adds up to 17. So this is a potential correct answer. This also has 17 here, so that's also incorrect. This also has 17 here, that's also incorrect. So that means B must be the correct answer. If you just check everything else, it says that 14 people own a cat, so you can also see that 7 here plus 7 here gives us 14. And then we also know that he's asked 40 people in total. So if we add up all these numbers together in this Venn diagram, it should also give us the number 40, which we can, if we calculate that, it would be 7 plus 7 plus 10 plus 16, we can see that also adds up to 40. So that's also sort of another check that you can do to make sure that the answer is correct. Okay, so it's once you sort of understand that concept, it's pretty easy. But yeah, that's just something where people do tend to make mistakes. And yes, the answer for this one would be option B here. Okay, now I'm going to create a Venn diagram from scratch here, and we're going to use the diagram to find the number of elements in this set here. Okay, so if you're unaware of this notation, it kind of looks like a U, right? So we've basically got two notations in probability and Venn diagrams like this. So we've got the U like that, and we've got a U like that. Okay, so the first one here, that means or. Okay, so that means that if we've got this, if we've got, say for example, the set S or O, that means that what's the probability of having a number that is either a square number or an odd number, right? It doesn't have to be both, it just has to be one of the two. Okay, and the second question is asking, this notation here, that means and. So that means what is the probability of a number in this set here being both a square number and an odd number? That's it. So the answer, yeah, the question is asking us to find this, but I'll also show you, if it was asking with this method, I'll also show you how to solve for that. Right. So if we look at the answer first, this is what our Venn diagram looks like. So we've got the left hand side here as the square numbers, and the right hand side over here are all our odd numbers. Okay. Now our square numbers our square numbers from this set here are 1, 4, and 9. Right? Those are our square numbers. Okay? Now, how many of those are odd? 1 and 9 are odd. So these will come in the middle here because they're both square numbers and they're odd. Okay? So that these come in the middle. Then we're looking at the remaining square number we have is 4. Right? 4 is the only square number here that is not odd. And that's why it comes by itself in this section here, because it is just square. It is a square number, but it's not an odd number. And then we have the rest of the numbers that are odd. Those are 3, 5, and 7. And then we've got the rest of the even numbers here that are neither square nor are they odd. Okay, so that's our Venn diagram. Now, as he said, the question is asking how many elements are in the set S or O. So how many numbers are square or odd? So that's basically, we're looking at everything within these two circles here. So how many elements are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements. The answer to that would be 6. Okay. If the question was asking for S and O, then we're looking at this middle portion here. Right? So there's two numbers that are both square and odd. So if the question is asking how many are elements in the set S and O, then our answer would be true. But the question is asking for or, so our answer is 6. Looking at the next question, we've got a Venn diagram here again. So some people visit the theater. The Venn diagram shows the number of people who bought ice cream and drinks in the interval. Now, ice cream is sold for $3 and drinks are sold for $2, and a total of $262 is spent. How many people bought both a drink and an ice cream? So we are essentially trying to figure out what this portion of the Venn diagram would be. And we're going to use our probability knowledge as well as some algebraic knowledge to solve this sort of question. Okay, so what I've done here is that we know we have 16 people that have bought ice cream. And remember that the cost of ice cream is $3. So that means that the total amount of money that was spent on just ice cream is $48. Okay, we do the same thing for a drink. We've got 32 people buying a drink and they're sold for $2 each. So that means that the total amount of money that's spent on just drinks is $64. Okay, we add that up, we get a total of $112. Now what we do know is we also know that a total of $262 is spent. So if we've got $112 from just drinks and just ice cream, that means that we have $150 left over that is going to be spent on this middle section here. That is going to be spent on the drinks and ice cream. Okay, now if each drink is $2 and each ice cream is $3, that means if you're getting a drink and an ice cream together, the total cost for that is going to be $5. Okay, so if you have $150 to spend and each sort of drink and ice cream costs $5. That means the number of people that have bought both a drink and an ice cream is 150 divided by 5, which gives us 30 people, which is option D here. So, okay, so that's a bit more of a application sort of question. We have to use some algebra here. Also, they've given us this information of 22 people outside. That's irrelevant for this question, because if they haven't bought anything, that they're not influencing the total amount of money spent at all. So that's sort of irrelevant. So don't let that confuse you. But yeah, that is some sort of question you could get in an exam. You know, as a 3 or 4 marker.